last week.
I've got full inspiration, so you guys can do it if you want.
I'm good. I don't want to talk if I don't have to.
I'm sitting at full.
Same. Okay, then I'll keep this one sweet and short.
Just like Rick.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Rick was pissed.
The end.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Mommy and Daddy are fighting.
I
Literally.
loved that line.
No, actually, I can do it because I was just telling my best friend about this like a few hours ago.
Oh, nice.
So
I even drew a little picture of the layout of the cart with Rick just
Nice.
back here in the back, and then you've got the ox, Michael.
Michael. So we start out waking up in Maliko's office that we were still hiding out in. Awen woke up first to two alarming things. The first one being Jacob's gone. Stranger in Jacob's spot. Also, Rick, was, fighting demons in his sleep.
He was all sweaty.
Yeah, he looked like he had a fever, and I think he was having, a fever dream.
The only cure is more cowbell.
Huh?
It's you're probably too
No, I
young,
didn't hear
but
you.
I said the only cure is more cowbell.
Yeah, I know the
Oh, you
skit.
do? Okay.
I'm not
proud of
that
you.
young, okay?
You never know.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Proud of you.
And so Awen, freaked out by the potential intruder, the stranger, is like, Contagious, wake up! And Contagious, and also the whole Rick thing, and Contagious is like, well, I can only handle one issue at a time. So first he I think he nudges Jacos, with his sword. He's like, who the fuck are you, pretty much? And we realize it's Jacos, though he's blue. And also cold and grouchy. And so they sort out that it is Jacob's.
Now recording.
Hey, Craig.
Sorry,
It's a bear.
I meant to do that earlier, but he didn't have permission, so I apologize for that. Sorry.
Hi, Craig. Yeah, so we put a pin in the whole Jacob's thing, because we're like, what the fuck? Why are you blue? And try to wake up Rick. We're shaking him. We're yelling at him. Nothing's happening. Dude's dreaming about Kalisa, but he's not because it's a bad dream. And Jacobs eventually offers, he's like, I can try something, and we're like, the fuck? Okay. And he has cold hands, and he just kind of cold hands to the face. Wakes up Rick, and it works. And yeah, we're like, Rick, what the fuck, dude? Where the fuck you been? He was like, and he tells us he was over at Jen's, and he's got the journal, and we start comparing the Jen's journal and Malikos's journal and the journal from the mad necromancer dude. And at one point, Awen asks Contagious about his lightning, and Contagious asks Awen about her magic, and Awen brings up that she recognizes one of the symbols, and Contagious looks at one of the other symbols and has a flashback or something and leaves. And after a little bit, Awen follows, and they have a nice little talkie. Very, very nice, very sweet. Let me see, am I missing anything?
Cute.
Very
demure.
Very cutesy, very demure, yeah. Eventually they both come back, and they got the game plan. Rick mends Septis's, the carvings in his body. And so Contagious goes over to the swinging sword and to talk to Kalisa, to give her, the update, and get the cart that we definitely have taken for longer than we said we would, but that's a future problem. And yeah, comes back with the cart with Michael the Ox, and load up the bodies, and we head to the shrines. We do the last rites for Septhys and Jen, and Bodhi's preserved. We bury Jen and Septhys, and we take a pit stop. And Awen gets better armor, and Contagious gets darts. And then they head out. And let's see. Yeah. Day 3, I guess it is. Or, no, day 2. We wake up with a different Jaycos. This one is more outgoing, but not as, like, fiery. And I can't remember what it looked like. What he looked like. But I know it was a third different one. And, some point down the road, Mommy and Daddy start fighting. And A1 breaks it up. And I think that's it. I don't know if I'm... Oh! How could I forget? One night, Contagious and Awen, on one of their shifts, like, watching, Contagious asked Awen to be there for him to cast something, like, for moral support / in case something goes wrong. And it goes great, and it's very sweet.
Yes. There was a
Did I
good
forget anything
wholesome
else?
moment. No.
Yeah, you forgot Rick.
Rick? Well, we did forget him for a second, and then we got him again.
Yes. Rick pulled one of those kids, like, I'm gonna run away from home, and then, like, slowly is, like, walking away, looking back at you over his shoulder.
Literally.
One of the lines that I wrote down that I thought was really awesome, because I thought the internal conflict with you guys was really great. You know, Rick was upset and feels that you guys have failed Jen. Also Bodhi and Septhys, but mainly Jen, and feels like nobody cares. The trip is taking too long. And Contagious gently reminded him that Bodhi died too, and the very least that they can do is take him to the matriarchs. And Rick said, don't wake me up till this is done. Yeah, very, very solid recap. Everybody is maxed on inspiration. I have shared the map. You guys have been traveling. You guys are winding up the 3rd day of travel, having followed the tracks. I believe it was Jaycos. I mean, you obviously knew which direction they were heading, but I believe you had done the survival check and absolutely killed it. We're like, I know exactly where they are. Follow me. So you guys have been hot on the trail, having entered the Westwood. Coming up towards the end of your 3rd day of travel. Is there anything you guys would want to discuss as the day begins to wind down before you get ready to set in for the night?
I think I said this to CJ, like, after the last time we played. Like, not too long after, like, maybe the next day or something. I think, at one point, I don't know which Jaycos is present when this happens, but, when, if he's in, like, a talkie-talkie mood, would probably bring up how nervous she is. Like, part of her is excited to see these people again, but how excited she is, or no, how nervous she feels to be like the bearer of bad news. And obviously that's something that she shares with Jaycos, but you know, she doesn't say this, but deep down she feels like really guilty about Bodhi.
Understandably so.
But that's all I have to say.
Okay, very solid. Anyone else?
No, Contagious is probably pretty quiet after that little confrontation.
go ahead and everybody that is awake and coherent, please give me a perception check.
I'm
Starting
gonna
off
say, Rick,
strong.
are you awake?
Wait, yeah. Oh, there it is.
Rick is currently snoring heavily in the back of the cart. 9. Alright, Jacobs will be the one to see it. Give me just a second. I'm trying to bring up a new map. Make sure these are all loaded.
I wish Fantasy Grounds had like alternating highlighted things because it's so hard to track.
Yeah.
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 It really is.
Yeah, I always have
I'm
to like
literally.
put a sheet of paper up there and like, okay, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm counting how far away each stat is from proficiency. Because I know the ones that have +5 in proficiency. Okay, how far away is that? Okay. Because I can't track it across.
Same. Yeah, it's difficult at best. I don't know if I have the map that I want for this, so we may just use a placeholder map in the meantime. Okay. No, this works. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Get you guys on here. And then I'm gonna share it. Nothing else is on here just yet. Oh, come on, Fantasy Grounds. Sorry, for some reason it's deciding to be pain in my dick. I gotta get some art in here for Jacobs. Okay. So we're gonna use that for now. Alright. Jacobs, you were in the back of the cart, correct? With Rick's sleeping
I
body?
think I was up front. Contagious was driving, and I was
A1
like
was in back?
pointing.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so as you guys continue traveling, the night air is thick with the tension from the conversation earlier that day. Heavy with the scent of pine and damp earth as you continue moving through the shadowed undergrowth of the West Woods. The sun has set and the moon has risen high, filtering through the dense canopy of the trees, casting silvery slashes across the forest floor. Keeping your eyes and ears open, or trying to. Contagious and Awen, you guys hear an owl hoot in the distance. The hoot quickly swallowed by the murmur of wind rustling through the ancient trees. Jacobs. Up ahead in the distance, you see the flickering of firelight as it dances between the trees. The scent of burning wood and spiced meat, a familiar scent for you, Jacobs, begins to fill your nostrils, mingling in the crisp night air. You hear the familiar sound of faint voices, low murmurs, the occasional laugh, and the steady, constant scraping of somebody sharpening a blade. You hear this coming from roughly 150, 200 yards ahead of you guys.
I say, what Jacobs do we have right now?
The same one as the day of the fight.
Okay.
That was the golden one, right?
No, he's currently in fall mode.
Okay. He's easy to fall for, guys. I hate myself, I'm sorry.
Could you ping on the map where it is coming from?
Yes. Roughly from over here.
Okay. Can I... Blue from down there. Oh, no, that far. You stupid map.
Gotta love it. And I'm gonna put a party token there. There's way too many people, so unless you guys get into combat or anything, I'm not gonna be placing them all on here.
Can I... Can Jacobs, like, creep away and pop behind that tree to get a closer look?
Absolutely. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I need to put art on your sheet so that you can move it, because we had this problem with Bodhi last time, right? So I used the...
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I'm just gonna use the most recent one, if I can get there. Oh yeah, the toilet video. I forgot about that. Blocked it out of my memories.
Yeah, me too.
When you get that figured out, do we notice Jacob's dip?
Unless he's trying to be stealthy, I would say absolutely. So he hasn't said anything to you guys. So unless he's trying to like sneak off, which would be very, very hard to do. But not impossible. You gonna roll?
Me? No.
Oh, okay.
I said token roll.
Oh, okay. I thought Jacob said I'm gonna roll, and I was like, that's a bold move, Cotton.
Oh shit. Just in case this happens to come up later, I have proficiency in land vehicles. I don't know if that helps with the whole driving cart thing, but
You know what? Awesome. You will no longer have to roll animal handling unless you get a very stubborn animal. But that will
Awesome.
definitely...
I
come
don't
in
remember
handy.
that was what I took, but I knew I had a choice, and I guess I took that.
It was a good choice.
I'm alright with it.
Yeah.
I have a proficiency in Inland.
Alright, let me
Yeah, that works.
move you.
Can I see anything better from this point of view?
Go ahead and give me a quick investigation check, please. Or perception if you're just trying to look on over.
Do we just see Jacobs kind of dip off to the side without saying
yeah,
anything,
he like
right?
jumps off the cart and sneaks over. Okay. So what you see is, and it's still a good distance away, but you see that there's a fire, like a campfire, and a number of carts, essentially, most covered, a couple open. You see that there are a large number of people, silhouettes, shadows. They're more, figures than people with this distance. I will not make you roll for this because of the history. But the setup and layout and the sheer size of what it is that you see, you've got a good instinct about what this is.
Alright, I'm just gonna call back to the group and just like, oh, thank fuck there's not another day ahead of us. Alright, guys, come on.
I was gonna say, as soon as, like, Awen realizes that we're approaching them, she's not even, like, worried, because she knows that, like, there are other people that are probably gonna spot us, and already have spotted us, before we even get close.
Oh hell yeah, we have pointy things trained on us.
Oh yeah,
Already.
yeah. You guys and you guys both know. Contagious does not know, and Rick is unconscious, but also does not know that. Normally with a group this size, anyway, but specifically with this troop, with the matriarchs, they are well endowed with making sure that their safety is taken care of, and that they are secured and heavily watched and protected, especially while resting at night. So you both know that it's very likely that not only do they know that you're there, but there are probably people not too far off from where Jacobs is and from where you guys are that are kind of scouting and watching. Weapons ready.
Not that our group would ever notice.
No. And the one who did probably wouldn't say anything.
If
was just
Jacobs returns to the cart, Awen will also get out and walk the remainder of the way.
Okay.
Yeah, if they start heading out, I'm gonna stay with the cart. Just let me know. I'd say go talk to them first before we bring everyone in. Let me know when I can bring the cart.
Oh, I was gonna say that Jacobs is getting back on the cart. He doesn't care that it's like 150 feet away. He already knows that they're aware of our presence. It's just like, you're
That's
fine,
fair.
pull up.
Alright.
Let's
Hey,
ride.
I'm following y'all's lead on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. But Awen, you are getting off and
No,
continuing
that
on
was
foot?
just to walk with Jacobs,
Okay. 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 As you guys approach,
Is there a way to drive unthreateningly? I don't know.
give me performance.
Just like whistling and
Just
like. Exactly. Yeah, you get me. You get me.
yeah. No, you're
Naruto
fine.
transition
I'm
song.
rolling anyway. I want to see.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, it's almost a
Yeah.
natural one. You roll up like,
Realized-
oh.
My heart stopped for a second. I was like, oh no.
Maybe
Yes,
Smith's shot.
yes. You are very convincing. They definitely do not see you, Contagious, as a threat.
They're like, this guy looks so nice.
Yes. Jacobs, with your perception, and obviously knowing the layout, and Awen, you'd probably catch some of this if you were looking. As you guys kind of continue, I'm going to select all of you and move your little butts. Let's see. But as you guys move forward, Jacobs, you see that there are, in fact, people hidden in the trees watching. Archers higher up in the trees. You see that behind some of the bushes, you see the silvery light cast down from the moon kind of sheens and glints off the blades of some of the people that are hidden in some of the bushes, just watching.
Jacobs just starts waving and then randomly flips someone off and continues waving.
You hear,
Yeah.
oh, fuck, he's back. I was hoping he'd be gone longer.
Every group's got that guy.
I love it.
Jacobs is gonna lean over to Contagious and just like, hey, go around this side of the wagons, because he knows at the time they're pulling up that the children are still awake. And he may be an asshole, but he's not gonna parade a family member like that.
Oh, that's fair. I wasn't even thinking about Bodhi's dead body in the back. I was like, avoid the children. Yeah, no, very, very smart. Very good call.
Hey. Oh god.
I want to see. Smile and wave,
That's
boys.
Jacobs.
Yes, I love it. All right, so there is that shift in the air as you do that, and if you were not maxed on inspiration, you would definitely be getting one. Doop-a-doop-a-doo.
I'm already maxed.
Yeah, but if you weren't, you would be now. Move you over this way.
Hey,
This
man.
map is just kind of for layout.
Never turn down hypothetical inspiration.
Yes, yeah.
Makes you feel better.
Would you say it makes you feel inspired?
No, I wouldn't say that.
I would. And that's why you would also get an inspiration for that. Boo on you, Contagious.
Yeah, so once we park, so to speak, I don't know how you park an animal.
Very
Oh.
carefully.
Jacobs is gonna get down, and then I know exactly where they be. Jacobs is gonna get down and walk over to a group of, at this point they probably all be eating, so a group
Yeah.
of the rest of the party will see in a windows. 3 older women, varying races, but all around the same age, and he's gonna speak some words and try and like pull this off to the side.
Okay. So to kind of set the scene for you guys, this camp is nestled. There's an open, like, natural clearing in this section where the towering pines kind of give way to the wide stretch of packed earth. All of it pretty much illuminated by the flickering firelight. It's more of a bonfire than a fire because there are a lot of people here, upwards of 30, 40 plus. You hear a lot of the talk turn to murmurs as eyes turn to you. There are some smiles and looks of relief as they see Awen and Jacos. This encampment, there's dozens of tents set up, a lot of them made of thick hides and canvas. There's mostly arranged in like a semicircle around the fire. The entrances are flanked by wooden totems and carts. There, again, are a lot of people here. Most of them seated or leaned back on the tree line, resting back against some of the trees. There are some children running around playing and squealing. A lot of them would run up as Jacos approaches, and Awen, if you approach as well, they would run up and throw themselves around you and start talking. You know how kids are; they begin asking a lot of questions. And you're back. It's so good to see you. Things like that. At the far end of the camp, which is where you would see Jacos heading to, is a larger tent. The entrance to this tent, it's a large double-flapped opening, and on either side there is a stone brazier. The flames are burning blue. There's an arcanic buzz, a magical energy in the air here.
Oh, what?
An arcanic
I'm sorry.
buzz.
Brazier.
Brazier. Hey,
Yes, I
I'm
can
sorry.
never say it right. I'm always like brazier,
Well-
brazier, brighter.
Yeah, and I was like, I know I'm misunderstanding something because it's not a flaming bra,
No.
but I was
They're
trying
in the
to.
shape of flaming bras.
I mean,
Nice.
I feel like they would burn their bras.
They would.
I feel like they would. So either way,
Okay,
use your.
anyways,
It works.
sorry.
Either way, no, you're okay. Words are hard for me right now. I'm very sorry.
Actually, also, pause. I don't know what that other thing is either.
Which one?
The correct. What you're trying to say?
Oh, brazier.
Brazier?
That word. There. So
Brazier?
essentially, it's like how do I want to
A big
describe
torch.
it?
A fancy flaming torch, I believe.
Yeah, but it's a
Yeah.
standing one. It's a standing one.
Mm.
So, like, I actually
Like
have
Andy.
something that would work. So, like, a big, giant stand that you would put, like, fire in.
That's cool. That's all I needed.
Okay.
Like a bird bath, but fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fire.
Fire bath.
Bras. Anyways.
Yes, bras are on fire. There are boned wind chimes that hang from a little awning that comes out over the opening of the tent, and that kind of clatters and rattles in the breeze. So, Jacos, the rest of you, what are you guys doing as Jacos approaches to speak to the women? And you guys would see inside the tent that there are the 3 elder women that Jacos goes in to
So-
talk to.
Awen would like walk up with Jacos, but hang back, like not approach the matriarchs.
The page is staying with the cart until told otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I may, Denali, Contagious, at this point, you see probably like a group of 3 kids hiding around the corner of someone. Just hiding behind somebody's legs, staring at you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, are
Yeah.
any of these children Sam?
Oh, absolutely.
The ones that are hiding around peering?
Yeah, they're the runaway kids. Because I feel that they do that. Immediately get
Yeah.
nosy.
Yeah. And I feel like the only reason that that they aren't approaching the cart is people around are telling them no. They've picked up the vibe check, and knowing what you were sent out for, and seeing the way
Reading
that
the
you're
vibes.
yeah, they're picking up what you're putting down. But
And
yeah.
the lack of bogey.
Yes, yeah, that's a big one. And Rick, you're still sleeping in the back. Your dreams kind of filter in with the sounds of hushed murmurs and children laughing and crackling fire. That kind of, you know how like when you're like half asleep, if you fall asleep with the TV on, and it kind of filters and penetrates into your brain, kind of like that. But it's a very warm and cozy feeling rather than a foreboding or ominous one in this moment. So, okay, Jagos and Awen, you enter the tent. And
Oh, Awen was staying out of the
outside?
tent.
Okay.
Unless she's like invited, but she was just gonna let Jacobs do the preliminary or reintroductions, you know.
Okay. Oh, don't want to do that. Alright, so as you enter, Jacobs, Jackie, Betty Dean, and Sharon Kay stop their conversation and look up to you. Smiles initially plastered on their faces as they stand to greet you. Jackie comes over and gives you a hug. You've returned so much sooner than I thought you would. Have you good news?
No. It's... He's gone. He's here with us, but I arrived too late. I found this out afterwards.
Her embrace drops immediately as she pulls back and scans your eyes. I feel like there have been times where you've kind of like messed with them a little to kind of gauge a reaction from them in different points. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But you can kind of tell without even having to try that she's scanning. In her eyes, there's a look of pleading, like almost wanting this to be a bad joke. As Betty Dean and Sharon Kay approach, each, hugging you, putting a hand on your shoulder. Betty Dean, well, you said you brought him with you. What happened? Are you okay?
I'm fine. There was no fights on the way here. And I don't know if anyone would be able to hear this outside or is trying to overhear it.
She's not trying to eavesdrop. She's trying to be respectful because, like, obviously she traveled with them for a hot minute, but this is still like their family, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tent.
Yeah.
Assumedly, no. Just basic wardings, not volume or anything.
Yeah.
Aowen would hear Jacobs' voice cracking, and this has not happened in the past 4 days.
And your passive hearing is enough that you can pick up most of the conversation without trying
Okay.
to. I would say not everything, just because of, the
Right.
conversation and everything has resumed. And I feel like the kids would be asking a lot of questions, and parents and other members of the troop telling the kid, leave her alone, come back over here, give her a minute. Things like that. So that those would kind of cut off little bits and pieces, but you'd hear most of what was being said.
Yeah, he'll continue. The one outside knew him. She was there. I would suggest talking to her to get the whole story.
But you're okay? Sharon Kay would ask as the others, they all kind of like turn to look outside. And Sharon Kay would want to confirm that you are okay.
Beyond anyone who knew him would be. Probably.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead and give me an insight check. The matriarchs would kind of come together. Everything seems fine, Contagious. This is just a large group come together. Obviously curious about you specifically. They seem to be aware of or
Big shiny.
comfortable about the others. What was that?
Big shiny man.
Yeah. And you've got this oxen, and they haven't seen you before, so they're just kind of either some of them are like dismissive, don't really care that you're there. You haven't posed as a threat or anything like that, but nothing nefarious or sus or shady or anything like that. The matriarchs would come together and hug you, embrace you once more, and then Jackie would take you by the hand and begin leading you out. And would say something along the lines of, we can find a more private place to have a conversation away from the others. Walking out with, unless you opted to stay behind Jacobs, Awen, for the first time in what possibly feels like an eternity, you see the familiar, warm, kind faces of the matriarchs. They approach you, Jackie first, Betty Dean and Sharon Kay, and they smile softly, but initially don't say anything before pulling you into a very tight embrace.
Oh.
And just kind
Awen
of...
breaks. Awen
Yeah.
breaks.
Yeah, she's probably, there are tears.
I'm trying not to cry too. I told you guys I'm a giant pussy.
Oh yeah,
I
I'm
don't
choking up over here.
Yeah, especially like after our conversation about them, like that is just consistently in the back of my mind right now, and I'm just like, oh, I want to hug them.
It's like, obviously she knows this, but it feels like when, like, even though you know they're not, if like when you're scared a parent's gonna be mad at you.
Yeah.
So like she's like holding herself. She returns the soft smile, but is very tense. And then they just hug her, and she hugs them back, and is trying not to cry, but is probably
Just
unsuccessful.
profusely crying.
Yeah. And I think like as soon as like Jackie brings you into the embrace, rather than them like, you know, one at a time greeting you, like as soon as like that starts to break, I feel like all of them would come together in a big group hug, and Jackie would kind of tuck your hair behind your ear and begin to gently wipe away the tears from your face, as the others, as you know, Betty Dean and Sharon Kay are like rubbing your hair or rubbing your back, and it's okay.
I think before they can even get a word in, she's just like, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Oh my god, that's gonna make me
apologi-
cry.
And Jacobs is gonna step up and she's like, I can't even say it in the accent. Contagious, you're good. And he's gonna look over. Grom, I know you're somewhere in the trees. Don't let the kids near the cart.
In the distance you hear, you got it.
Contagious is just like,
What is going on?
You just see a man drop down next to the cart.
Right. So I was like, you guys are in view of me at this point,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
Outside-
yeah, they've come
Yeah,
out of the
seeing-
fence.
Seeing the emotional scene, you say that to Contagious, and he just shoots you the most awkward thumbs up and does not leave the cart. Just, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Max Stickins.
Who's got two thumbs and doesn't know what to do with his hands right now?
Very much.
As you apologize, and they haven't said a whole lot. There's been no real communication outside of the "it's okay" kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like Betty Dean would be the one to kind of pull back and not give you like a stern look, but look at you very seriously, and I guess stern is the best word I can think of. And whatever happened, it was not your fault. Do not apologize before embracing you again. Then I feel like at this point, not wanting to cause a scene, and they're kind of trying to act like everything is okay. You know, a lot of the eyes
Yeah.
are on you now, and the conversations had kind of lowered a bit as you guys started talking out of respect. But now it is shifted to a hushed whisper.
Yeah.
of very much the vibe of you can feel the eyes on you, trying to piece things together. Um, Jackie would look at you and look at Contagious. Um, there's a place just a little ways off that we can go and have this conversation. If your friend would like to join us and be out of the peering gaze of our friends.
Yes. There's two. One's asleep.
It is a long journey, and it appears
In
he's been through
parentheses,
quite
does
a
the
lot.
asleep one want to be woken up and join this conversation?
You can try.
No, he said don't wake him up until we're done with this.
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, you guys
He's
can
small enough to
absolutely
carry.
try. Small enough to
You
carry.
can certainly try to wake him up.
Contagious ain't doing shit.
Just make sure you wake him up
Ewan?
before you go.
It will make an effort to at least make sure his body is physically present wherever this conversation is happening.
He's just gone. Can you imagine? Sorry, that's not funny because it could happen. He is still there, sleeping, unless he
Unconscious
devised another
dimension door.
plane. Yes. Do you try and wake him at all?
Yeah, just so if he can walk. Awen doesn't want to have to carry him if he'll walk. It's like a kid pretending to be asleep in the car.
Nothing happens. You can't wait.
Okay. That is concerning. And Awen is concerned, but will...
It's also kind of par for course. So, like, not as concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, if they're all moving, Awen will carry him, unless
But, I mean,
anyone else...
do you want to take the
Are we
cart?
leaving the cart? I was gonna say, what are we doing?
That way we're bringing, everything
Mhm.
with us. Yeah, I'm gonna bring the cart.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna move all you guys again. Over here. Bow, bow. Okay. Excuse me. So Contagious, which you see, this is your first time seeing them, and Rick, if at any point you wake up, this is what you would see as well. Again, they are three older women. Jackie is, I don't want to say like the main one, but she's the first one that you would see. She'll talk a little bit more than the others. She has a warm brown skin tone, gray streaked black hair that's tied back in a practical low bun back here. Very thick. She's got a lot of hair. She is wearing simple robes adorned with different holy symbols. Her eyes are very soft and gentle and kind, but you can see, especially as the firelight kind of hits them just right, they reflect years of knowledge, wisdom, and experience. Betty Dean is a bit of a wiry woman with sun-kissed skin. She has short, curly white hair and piercing green eyes. She is wearing practical clothing, kind of like traveler clothing, essentially, adorned with small trinkets from leaves, feathers, woods, bone. I don't know why I said woods, and bones. A green feather tucked behind her ear. Sharon Kay is the tallest of the three and has an athletic build. She is well-toned just in general, but especially for somebody of her age. You would not expect somebody her age to be this well-maintained. You'd expect somebody a little bit softer. Her skin is tan and weathered. She has auburn hair with streaks of silver. This is tied into a tight braid that hangs over her left shoulder. She wears leather armor and carries a bow and quiver. And on her waist is a tool belt, where you see, like, essentially she's got like a Swiss Army knife set up, kind of stuff like that, survival gear and tools. Rope, a bundle of rope hanging off of her left hip.
Do any of them have like a clear, like, symbol of a god or any kind of like worship that I would recognize on them?
Go ahead and give me a religion check.
I was gonna say, having returned, paying closer attention to that kind of stuff, Awen would also probably, like, that's another conversation, but just quick glance, like,
Okay.
what symbols were there that I didn't realize
Okay.
last time, you know?
Alright, so there is, let me post some of these in here for you. So with an 11 contagious, you'll recognize some of these, but I don't think, because you're not like a holy warrior or anything, I don't think you would know what each of these are, if that makes
Just
sense.
Things I've probably seen before.
Yeah.
I know they're probably in that wheelhouse.
Yeah. This symbol, and then Awen, if you want to give me a religion check, the DC will still, I mean, you are a holy warrior,
Yeah.
but because...
I was just thinking that. I was like,
Yeah, you should know all about holy stuff and religion, right?
no, she don't know jack shit. Yeah.
Doop-a-doop-a-doo.
I like, as you were saying that to Contagious, I was like, no, Contagious is still gonna know more than Awen.
Yeah, Contagious is still trying to process the whole you're a cleric who doesn't know their god thing.
Right?
Yeah, so
Has-
they
Has not really been able to put any of that to make sense in his head. He was comfortable just assuming.
You know what assuming does.
Do-do-do-do. Oh, I'm just double checking, making sure I've got their deities right.
It's like when, like, you go to the doctors and, like, you know more than the surgeon.
Like, that's not right. That can't be right.
Right?
So a 14, okay.
I say, if anything, she might just make note of them, because I doubt
Okay.
she knows, recognizes anything. I
And I'm
really
trying
screwed
to
myself here with that one.
I'm trying to find this other symbol. Doop-a-doop-doo.
Make a sheltered character. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
These NPCs are for real people. It'll be fine.
Yes.
Contagious is off-put by the idea that he's the person in the group who knows the most about, like, normal life and, like, normal society. That's not a place he's used to being.
I
He's
love
just
it.
like, oh no, what have I gotten myself into?
It's like me when I am the voice of reason in a group. No
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, it feels wrong, right?
Yeah.
Definitely can.
You know, something's seriously wrong
Sorry, I'm just trying
when
to...
I'm the voice of reason in a group.
And then this is what you would see essentially for Betty Dean. And then, unless I'm wrong, I don't believe there would be any kind of religious insignia on Sharon K.
Oh.
Because I don't have notes. Was there somebody specific that she would have followed?
No, she would be more like all things are natural.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because I was thinking, if anything, she would like follow the Earth Mother. But the vibe I got from her was not so much atheist, but that's not like the forefront of who she is or how she presents. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
she knows gods exist, but we come from the earth and we will return to it, and we respect it.
Okay.
Awen likes that.
Yeah. So she would probably be, if she were to follow somebody, it would probably be the Earth Mother, which would be similar or close to Betty Dean's, but not quite the same. But they have a different way of honoring that. I think is the way to
Odds
put it. The Golden Goyles. Okay, yeah. So I'd say that you guys would like, at the very least, like you would have seen the second sigil when you guys were at the All-Face Shrine. You probably would have seen
Yeah,
both of
we
them
did
there.
see it.
Okay, yeah. And you probably would have seen the first one as well. And Contagious, you've seen them outside of the All-Face Shrine, but you don't know what deities they represent, or...
But having seen them before, I get the idea they're not. This isn't any like super fringe cult stuff. It's pretty accepted worship because I've seen it in general society.
Yeah.
I
least
don't
that's-
look at
that's
side eye
what-
you give us.
At least as far as he's concerned, he's like, oh, I recognize that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I feel like, well, I'm not even gonna say anything because your roll was terrible. I'm sorry. Well, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't enough.
It
Yeah,
was
but there's
better before modifiers.
yeah, that -1 sucks. But yeah, there's not an immediate concern or any no kind of like alarm bells go off when you see them.
Sounds good.
Okay. So we're all coming over, parking the cart. Rick and Toe still sleeping. Jackie would kind of set up a smaller fire for you guys. The flames of this one kind of crackle a deep blue with light blue and orange highlights. It is very, very pretty. But Jacos, Awen, you guys know that this kind of fire is meant just to create enough light for you guys to be able to see, but not enough to draw attention or be sat around for jolly conversations. This is more of a we need to see, but we don't need others to see kind of fire. Contagious, are you staying on the cart?
No, I mean, I'll hop down, but I'm not going to get, like, directly in the conversation. I'm going to kind of just stand by.
I think Jackie and I think the ladies would ask, who's your friends?
I was gonna say Awen would introduce them.
Thank you.
For sure.
I don't want to... Cages is all sorts of awkward right now.
Yeah, no, definitely, like, as soon as we got to the area, maybe while the fire was being set up, Awen, if Jacobs doesn't beat her to it, would... No, probably not. Awen would introduce them, Contagious and Rick, and be like, they're good. They're friends.
Jackie, being who and what she is, would ask if Rick was okay.
That's a loaded question.
Is that your response?
Actually, he probably, if it was even slightly just directed at the group, yeah, Contagious would probably say something like that.
She cocks her head and narrows her eyes.
I do
he's,
believe
he's fine.
as no, well, less a pressing
He's
matter.
physically fine. Don't know what's going on in the history or the head. He's just asleep right now.
He
Okay.
sleeps a lot, and sometimes we can't wake him up.
It's entirely different reason we're here, but
Yes.
He seems to lack memory too. Of
Is it from a magical source?
no clue.
Shrug. Fuck if I know.
Right now, I think he is avoiding us, and this is a convenient way to do it.
Just the fake
Why?
snoring. Just I'm not here.
No, that's not what she meant.
Why would she think
Honk
she's
chewing.
ignoring you? What has happened? I know we have the matters of Bodhi to get to, but unfortunately, there's nothing we can do immediately. Tell us what's happened.
Do you mean specifically for him, or should I start from the beginning?
Start with what you think is most important. And I think at this point, like while you're talking, Jackie would make her way over to Bodhi, the other mothers, the matriarchs, kind of watching but letting her do her thing and more focusing into you. So it's not like they're ignoring you as you're talking. They're
Right.
and Jackie goes to work. She uncovers him and begins, doing her thing.
Yeah, Awen seeing that will actually like cut herself off and be like,
He was preserved, somehow. We were in Redlark, All Faith's shrine. They were able to help preserve him. I don't know where to start. I think there are circumstances greater that I know at least I could use your help on. But as far as Bodhi comes into the picture, we, Contagious, Rick, and myself.
wait, at this point, Zavarius was also there, right?
Initially, yeah.
And Sepsis was not.
So Sepsis
trying to
and
remember.
so all of you guys were together with Sepsis and Zavarius after the Necromancer
Okay.
cave. When you guys came back to go check on Jen is when they had split off.
Okay, so at this point it was all 5 of us though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
along with 2 others. We were following a lead about a missing friend, and found ourselves in some sort of necromancer's underground dwellings.
It was not a good place.
But we had just nearly finished. Well, there was a combat.
A combat.
Just the one.
Just one.
And really just after the dust settled, Bodhi appeared from an entrance we hadn't realized was there. And it was strange. A pleasant face considering everything. He later said he heard the sounds of combat and investigated, and I don't know what
What am I trying to say?
what coincidence was made that we happened to run into each other again, but in such interesting circumstances. But it was he appeared underground and basically ended up tagging along with us, not really knowing what it is we were facing. We didn't know. Still don't know what exactly it was, but there ended up being more combat, and that we managed out mostly fine. And the next day, we went to continue our investigating. Hold on, now I'm testing my memory. Okay, after that is when we went to Milikos. Yeah, and that's when we went underground, but he went with us, didn't come back up, right?
Correct.
I mean, he came back up, just not of his own volition.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
Physically returned.
Yes.
Following that lead from the night before, we found ourselves in another underground system, with some similarities to the prior one, but not entirely. There was, what I can only describe as cultish, a group. The missing friend that we were initially searching for, they had killed her along with another friend, and it was once we encountered them that there was more conflict and Bodhi went down. And at that point, like, the tears are returning and she's not wanting to finish that. Like you can see she's, like, trying to find the words. Because the rest of that sentence was, I went down and didn't get back up in time. And we didn't get to him in time. He didn't know what he was getting himself into. Because we didn't. And we dragged him along anyways, and he fought with us, and he died.
Betty Dean places a hand on your shoulder while you're speaking. Not cutting you off, but...
Right. It wasn't even 48 hours. I don't know what we've gotten ourselves into. And I'm coming to hate whatever stroke of luck it was that brought Bodhi to cross up my path again. And at that point, like, she was, like, kind of, like, eyes glossed over, like, looking into the fire, like, talking, like...
1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, and it's after that, like, she almost physically, like, tries to shake herself out of it, like, I don't know what it is we've gotten ourselves into, but it seems bigger than we had initially imagined.
Sharon K approaches on your other side. And this whole time, as they're listening, Jackie has been checking the body. She would have made comments that the the holy person, whoever it is that had done the gentle repose on Bodhi, knew what they were doing, and I feel they got to him, or you got him to them just in time. This should buy us time, at least to put him to rest, if nothing else. And I think she would check on Rick as well, checking your vitals. Rick, as you are sleeping, there's a cold sensation on your forehead, your cheeks, your jugular here. Hands gently but firm pressing on your chest and kind of poking around, kind of like they do at a doctor's office. Not intrusive or invasive. They are very firm but gentle hands, very skilled. So I don't think it would wake you. She's not trying to wake you. And she would let the rest of you know. You're correct, Awen. I see that you've grown in your medical abilities. He is okay. It sounds, based on just what you've told me, you've endured the last bit. His body may be protecting himself. Everything okay? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, okay. It's quite an eventful stretch and traumatic, especially if they're less aware and skilled in combat and seeing death. That's quite a lot to encounter in such a short period of time. He may just have shut down to recover and recuperate. I don't think there's any immediate need to worry.
She almost laughs, but it doesn't the smile doesn't reach her eyes, and she's. I think I've got more healing magic than him, and he is the one that brought me back up 3 times. So he's definitely, he was close to Jen, who is the missing person who we found. He's definitely these last few days have been tragic. And I think there is more before we met as well. But
Well, it's quite fortunate for you, as Sharon K begins to speak, that he was there. And hopefully neither of you carry the burden or guilt of Bodhi's death. We know as well as anyone that when things like this happen, you can't always save everyone. But you had no way of knowing. It's not your fault. And
Awen is just looking at her hands in her lap.
I think at this point, and again, Cass, if at any point you feel that this is out of character for any of them, so you guys know, but these are our NPCs that were created for Bodhi's backstory, and there's connection obviously to Jacos as well as Awen. So I still treat them as NPCs, but because they are part of a player's backstory and their creation, especially something with such a close personal connection, you have agency to correct or interject as you guys see fit, with things like this. I feel like Sharon K would be, I don't want to say the most straight shooter, because I feel that they're all very, straightforward and honest women. But I feel like she would be the most direct and not forceful, but I feel like at this point she would kind of place herself taking a knee or squatting down in front of you and kind of lifting your chin, ensuring that you were looking at her. And whatever sticks at this point will stick, and what doesn't, she at least knows that you're there.
Right.
None of this was your fault. It's not a string of bad luck. It's a series of unfortunate events. But our fates are what they are. We all have our cycles. And I believe that each cycle has an expiration date. Some, unfortunately, sooner than others. It is what the gods will. It is what the Earth Mother wills. And there are means to slow that down or temporarily reverse things. But his fate was out of your control. Quick perception checks from everybody, please. And let me roll for these ones as well.
Perception. Fuck
Natural
off.
20. Wow. You guys killed it.
It was a little distracted, okay?
Little bit. Okay. All right. Jacos, you definitely know. And I feel like it's because you would be aware of this being a possibility. But you and Betty Dean noticed this. Betty Dean got a natural 20. Just on the outskirts of the clearing that you're in. So kind of like over in this area. Jacos, you hear a bit of rustling in the foliage and hushed whispers, the snapping of a twig. And as you turn, you see the three faces kind of
Don't do it.
Don't. Peering out.
This is where he's actually gonna step up. He's gonna put a finger to his mouth and, like, everyone shut up. And look at Betty Dean and, like, try and sneak around the other side of the cart, because, I mean, these kids...
Awen doesn't notice that. I was gonna say that Awen signs like kids to Betty Dean, but
Yeah, he's gonna pull around the other side of the cart and, if he can, scoop them all up. Like,
Alright.
physically remove them.
Okay.
Because this is not his conversation to be in, he feels.
Fair. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
sneak up on those children.
Yes.
No, it's Bob.
Okay.
You know what? Hold on.
I'm gonna say, if you like motion to the group to be quiet, if you were in arm's length of Awen, she could have guidanced you. If you wanted.
He's gonna use Face Step and grab them.
I love
yeah.
it. Okay, so you definitely have the element of surprise. Go ahead and just give me a quick... I'll allow either strength or dexterity. So either, yeah, just straight. And I'll allow you to do so with advantage because of the element of surprise.
So here.
And it will initially be uncontested because they don't realize it. But as Jaco stands to do this, oh, very solid. That'll do it. What you guys would see is Betty Dean starts to kind of get up and start walking that direction. When you and Jacobs both recognize this. And Contagious, you recognize the look as well, even though you've not seen it on her before. It is very much that of a frustrated parent, but not wanting to cause a scene or draw attention. One of those, like, you know, like when the parents are like, and they're like talking through their teeth kind of stuff. Like it's very much that kind of vibe.
Universally understood, yeah.
Yes, yes. But she is trying to play it off and start walking that direction, you would see that Jaco stands up, and then you can flavor this however you would like, but essentially disappears from where he is standing, and you hear the movement coming from the bushes as he reappears and grabs the three children.
Children squealing. Gotcha!
Yeah, and they're like, ah, what, shit. I feel like one of them would be like, oh shit, you scared me, and the other's like, oh, you said a bad word, and kind of like chuckling like that, but very much catching them off guard as they struggle to get away. And there's the whining of, oh, we just wanted to see what was going on. What's in the cart? What happened with Bodhi? We heard his name. Is everything okay? What's there? What are you guys doing? What's the secret?
Yeah, there's probably just like a brief
Endless
second.
questions.
Yeah,
Yeah, again,
yeah.
there's probably like a brief second of Kate just reaching for his sword when Jacob's disappeared before realizing what was happening. Just kind of like, all right, we're chill. Just like kind of that instinct of shit just was about to happen, and then
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
we're good, we're good.
Yeah, and like in character, like this guy's been kind of sus, so it makes sense. But I like the softer side we're seeing of him tonight.
Yeah, he's just gonna walk away with the kids. He's not gonna answer questions. He's just gonna walk them back to the tree. Yeah, full arms.
Yeah, and I feel like at first they're struggling to like get away and things like that, but your check was solid enough, and you had advantage on it too. So that after like a moment or two, especially like as they turn back and they see Betty Dean's like mad mom face, they're just kind of like, ugh. And then it's like carrying three fat cats who have just kind of given up and are just slumped by the time you get them back to the rest of the troop. We just wanted to see what was going on. What's the big deal? Why are you guys so secretive? Why I thought we don't hide things in the troop. I thought we were open and shared stuff. What's the big deal?
This is not something you need to know about right now. You'll know about it tomorrow with everyone else. Just because you get to run around freely doesn't mean you get to know everything.
But I'm practically an adult.
You're 7?
I'm a big boy. I can keep a secret.
Press X to doubt.
Fine.
It's so the triplets.
Oh my gosh, I love them. And what was that you said, Contagious?
Oh, just, when he said I can keep a secret, I'm just like, press X to doubt.
Right. Yeah, sure you
Nope.
can, kid. Sure you can. But yeah, you guys do hear that commotion. It becomes very obvious that the three children that were there are no longer there, having been spotted. And that quickly
Stolen away.
yes, and that quickly fades away as the whining and thrashing stops. Contagious, are you saying or doing anything as it's all taking place, or are you just kind of listening, smiling awkwardly?
Oh,
like
no.
Everything is fine.
Super awkwardly, kind of looking at the ground, trying to be as invisible as possible.
Okay.
Leaning against the cart.
Yep, uh-huh.
Um,
I'm just some dude who's here to deliver bad news. Yeah.
unlucky news. Okay. And then Jacobs, you're coming back after deposit children.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop them off with someone who will make sure that they won't run away.
Okay.
Probably with the older kids.
Some of the older
Like, they're pretty much used to it, but some of the older kids, I'm just gonna go, like, watch them. They don't get to be involved in this one.
One of the older girls kind of snickers. So you got caught, did ya? I told you sneaking off would get you in trouble. She's kind of smug. As you return, Jackie has gotten off of the cart, having said a prayer over Bodhi's body before covering him again with the sheet. She would have turned and said a quiet prayer over Rick as well, leaning down, kissing your forehead as you slumber, and gotten off of the cart to rejoin everybody else. I'm going to shoot you a quick message, Rick.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, okay. I think I had Templar on. Holy shit. Well, he's MC'd right now, so.
Okay.
Hey.
Give me just a sec. Okay. So as Jagos returns, and the matriarchs come back together, I feel like seeing that you're kind of awkward and on the outs a bit, I feel like they would invite you over, Contagious. We don't bite, and you've done a great service keeping our friends safe and returning Bodhi to us.
Awen would pat the seat next to her.
Yeah, he'll kind of just awkwardly come over, give a little nod. It was the least we could do. Just take a seat next to Awen and just continue being awkward.
The matriarchs would kind of not like whisper to one another, but it is a quiet conversation. You would hear them kind of repeating over the information that you had shared with them about the encounters that you've had, some of the culty activity, and
I was gonna say Awen would have said, you know, we brought along things that we items of, you know, different artifacts basically. That when the time for that conversation comes, you know, we have stuff for you to look at, you know, about this.
So as you share this and they're looking over everything, each of them kind of share a little bit with you. Betty Dean would tell you that there have been small disturbances, tremors, that I'd noticed when we were on the outskirts of Red Larch. They've persisted, but are not as strong. It feels as though there's been a disruption in the natural cycles. I've noticed that the birds had been flying in odd patterns, and plants had been growing strangely. There's almost an electricity in the air.
It wasn't me.
Were the words that I told her? It wasn't me. Okay, sorry. That was pretty funny. Jackie would have mentioned that I had heard somebody in passing mentioning people vanishing near Sumber Hills, caravans going missing, and bandits becoming bolder in their raids. Did you have a question, Eamon?
No, at that point she would chime in. We heard about the missing caravan, and the group of people that it was. Something we found in one of the underground. It was found, the Mirror Bar, something bars, something that we associated with them that was from Malikos, under Malikos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She would mention, that they found something in Malikos's, underground shit that might be connected to them. Might not be, but
Sharon K is listening in, and you watch as her wheels are turning. It's interesting that you said that there was not just one, but another underground tunnel system or room.
At this point, she'll pull out, I think it was the map that we found from Malikos that would
Mhm.
indicate probably more tunnels, and the rumor that they heard that it's potentially all connected.
I had seen some unusual activity on the outskirts of the town. Tracks of groups moving in patterns that don't make sense, almost as if they were avoiding the made roads deliberately. And there were some places where the earth was disturbed in odd ways that could match up with some of these markings here, she says as her finger kind of traces the map and taps at the different points that are marked, that are on the, I believe it's the south side of Red Larch, kind of coming down to where you guys are in the West Wood.
Awen had taken a sketching of the language that was on the walls there, right?
Yes, she had copied
The
that
Terran.
and then had done the rubbings. Yes.
Yeah. Contagious will kind of just nudge Awen as she's going through all her stuff and ask her to bring out that and the thing that the image, because I think we copied down an image of those 4 symbols. Someone had wrote those down.
Yes.
To pull those out and see if they knew anything.
Also, doesn't have to be now, but me as a player doesn't want to forget. We should bring up like the whole skull to the tree thing.
I
They
had
know
that in the
anything
back of
about
my
it?
head, but
Yeah,
yeah, that one was weird.
'cause that was near the first entrance. And also we'll bring up that while that is it's 2 underground things where they found cult activity, we'll also bring up the quarry entrance where they found Jarrett and the bear and the weird mercenary group, I think it was.
The bear. The Zentrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She brings up the bear with disdain, with scars peeking out of her collar.
Yeah. And the matriarchs, specifically Jackie, would have noticed the new markings, but she would not say anything. But if you were paying attention, unless this was in one of your more like non-thousand-yard stare moments, you would have clocked her clocking it.
Nice. Thanks, Mom.
Who here speaks Sylvan?
That's different than Elvish, correct?
Correct. It's like Spanglish to Spanish, kind of.
Yeah, it's like older Elvish.
Yeah. Kind of like Spaniard Spanish and Mexican Spanish. There's a lot of similarities, but they're different.
Sorry guys, I speak rock. It's not helpful here.
Rock
Literally.
But you know what? It did come in handy earlier.
It came in handy before. That's
No.
it. I speak rock and human. All right. No.
This is something I keep forgetting about, and we can talk about later. But I still have one language choice that I never made, because I forgot about it.
Mhm.
Can we, like, at some point... Oh, wait, maybe we can incorporate... I was gonna say,
We can
can
incorporate
we, like,
that.
incorporate that into her, like, learning a language through over time? But I was like, what if that was the sign language?
I was just gonna say sign language would be a good one.
Okay, so yeah, never
Yeah,
mind.
that works. That works.
That works.
I'll say, I had sign language in one of my past campaigns I did, and it was a lifesaver.
Really?
Certain, because I like, it was a very young group of characters,
Mhm.
and So like as it went on, I taught them little bits of sign language, and it let us like communicate very silently, and that is very helpful.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I'll throw a little bit of a bone here as well, because I feel like a lot of times, and obviously you guys will know better because you guys are taking ASL and know it better, but I feel like a lot of times when people are learning ASL, they also start to learn lip reading. Um, so, I mean, there's a feat and everything that you can take that will give you the ability to read lips. Which, if you want to
I
be
do
able
love that
to
feat.
fully learn to read lips, you will need to take that. But
Right.
when it comes to stuff like if this is the language that you have learned and you do want to like share it with the party as you guys go on, I'm totally okay with that. I will allow for like a +5 on like lip reading perception checks and stuff like that because of the ASL language.
Nice.
I think that makes sense and kind of lines up with it. So a little added
Yeah, Bodhi's not here
flavor
to,
bonus.
to use that bonus.
Yeah, but
What do you mean? Bodhi's right there.
Back to the original question. Jacobs does speak Sylvan.
okay, perfect. So you are going to be the only one of the PCs who understands this. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Jackie
Wait.
stands up. Yes?
What is it that wasn't Sylvan? What
I'm getting
is
ready
it that
to
we're
say
showing?
it.
Okay. I was like, what?
And actually, you know what? This might be more fun. I'm going to put it in chat. Hold on. And I'm not going to say what it is. So I'm putting it in chat in Sylvan. And this is Jackie who stands up and says this, okay?
Oh, fuck. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That feature.
It's a nice feature.
Okay, so you see that, or you hear that, Jacos. So the rest of you, Jackie stands up and turns to Betty Dean and Sharon Kay and begins to speak in an unknown language. The other two matriarchs nod their heads and stand up. And you watch as the three of them, without saying anything to the rest of you, kind of break off and go into the trees in different directions. Not too far. You can still see them if you're watching, if you have dark vision. If not, then nighty-night. But you can hear the rustling around and movement within the tree line. You hear the snapping of twigs and rustling of the brushes, some kind of scraping of earth. And after a couple of minutes, they return together. Each
I was
of
gonna
them,
say, does anyone have any idea of what they're doing?
you would know. I think this would be the first time that you would have seen this firsthand. But I think you would know that they have rituals and ways of, I don't want to say fortune telling, that's not the right word, but you have
That's it.
they have ways of kind of doing these rituals that blend like divine insight and natural communion to kind of help do answers. So it's very like shamanistic rather
Cool.
than like fortune telling. But as they return, they've got branches and twigs, some leaves, dirt, stones, a couple of bones that they kind of found in the area. And as they all kind of come back together with you guys around the fire, Jackie would turn to you guys. There's definitely something bigger going on, Awen. I believe that you are correct about that. And while what we're going to do is not going to give us all of the answers or information or potentially anything. It doesn't hurt to try. I just ask that as we do this, we remain silent and steadfast. Do you mind if we use some of the stones that you've brought?
I don't I don't know how you guys do what you're doing. I think if you wanted, I might be able to help. Knowing how to do something similar now. I don't know if it would be of help, but and she's proposing to use the cleric feature of the Woman's Importance, that basically is the spell that I can't say, Augury or whatever.
augury?
Yeah, that one. Which I think I got rid of because I forgot that I have that as like a feature and not like one of my
Prepared?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that would fuck with what they're doing. Anyone would offer though.
There's a slight beat, a slight pause as you say this, and they kind of cock their heads a little bit, but it quickly turns into a proud mom look on each of their faces. And Jackie smiles, like no longer soft at this moment, just beaming. And every little bit helps, and I'm quite excited and interested to see what it is that you can do. I've said
I
it to you
don't
before.
know.
Go ahead.
She's just I don't know what it is I'm doing either, but I know it's had similar effects. I don't know if it could be combined with what you're doing too.
It does
Help
not
the
hurt to
effect.
try. What was
Did
that?
they ask for something?
They were asking to use some of the rocks that you guys brought in.
Okay,
And
that's what I thought.
Jackie would ask to see the paper that the rubbings were done on.
Okay,
Okay.
so while they're talking, I'll kind of rummage through our stuff and be like, yeah, this is outside my wheelhouse, but I brought rock.
As
And
this
then,
ritual takes place, you hear them all screaming silently in your head because you speak rock. I'm just kidding.
They're paid. And then the paper with the rubbing and the translation that I wrote underneath it, because that was all in one paper, I believe.
Beautiful. Jackie would tell you not to worry. She's not going to burn or destroy the paper. In Sylvan, Jackie turns to you, Jacos. Would you please draw a circle around the fire? Large, a large diameter around the fire while we get everything else set up.
He starts doing what he's told.
All right. Betty Dean reaches into her sack and pulls out a small pouch that contains a mixture of salt, herbs, and ash. Contagious, was it?
Yes.
Will you take this and follow around behind Jacos and sprinkle this in the circle that he's laying out?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Very gingerly, like, wriggling it behind as he goes. He's like, fuck, I don't want to mess this up.
Not gonna fuck this up.
You have one job, Contagious.
Like RuPaul says, good luck and don't fuck it up. Sharon K begins to take the stones that Contagious had given her and starts to set them up in almost like stacking them at the edge of the fire to the south of where you guys are at, just between the fire pit where the blue magical fire is going and the ring that Contagious and Jacos are creating. Jackie walks over, pulls out a piece of parchment and sets it in front of the stones that has just been set up, and holding the paper that the rubbings have been done on, the charcoal rubbings, at the bottom, she uses a long fingernail and kind of scratches off some of the excess charcoal, not messing up the integrity of the etchings themselves, but getting off some of that extra charcoal, and then hands that back to Contagious when you're done with the circle. I almost said circle jerk. That was not what I meant. I'm so sorry for that Freudian
Whoa.
sleep. Yeah, it's a Freudian slip and then some. We'll hand that back to you.
I didn't know Frank was here.
Frank is always here.
I can't believe Rick's missing it. Of all characters.
When he wakes up, if you guys don't tell him that he missed an amazing circle jerk, I will be highly disappointed.
Wild. Anywho.
Oh man. I'm sorry. I can't help who I am sometimes. There was no intention on that. I know full well what that is, and there's no reason for that word to be in this game, especially right now. But that's just. I'm sorry.
Very different kind of role play there. Come on.
Yeah, and I definitely don't get paid enough for that one. No, thank you. God, that'd be awkward. It's probably good money though. Couldn't stream
It's
that.
great money.
I'm gonna have to look into that. Note to self. Yeah, that'll be a cameras are not an option. Leave them off.
Goddamn. Okay.
Jackie, holding the paper with the ash, takes it and sets a small twig inside it and kind of begins to roll it up, kind of like a joint at this point. And turns to you, Awen, and asks, "Is there anything that you need for yours?"
No, because it is because of the thingy. It actually doesn't use components or spell slots.
Awesome.
And I will say for this, Aylin knows like she is what she's about to do. Basically just tells her good or bad. She's less worried about like her response or what she gets from it. She's just trying to add to the divination energies that they're already doing. Trying to amplify what they're doing, not necessarily what results she gets.
I like it a lot. And in this situation, this is going to be very, very different from what you've experienced before. And you would be able to ascertain, unless you want to roll for it, because that could make it interesting. Do you want to roll insight? Okay, go ahead and roll insight for me before we get there, so that way I'll know how to flavor it. Okay, that's enough. That's good enough.
Okay.
You'll know that it's not. How do I want to word this? Because I don't want to say you're not powerful enough, but you know that it's not your magic that allows it this time. It's really more of because you are helping them, they are able to share what happens in that experience with you.
Yeah. Awen's just lending her
love
energy.
it. Yes, and because of that, their energy is being shared with you as well. So what I describe and what they will share with the group, which we're just going to say they do, because I'm going to say above the table what it is that they see, unless... Yeah, we'll just do that, save some time a little bit. But you will see and feel and experience it as well. And noted player message. Love it. So... as this is taking place, Jackie will, holding the rolled twig parchment in her hands, will kind of motion for... Yes?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Motion for you and the matriarchs to come and join her around the circle. Very witchy vibes. I like it. Very cutesy, very crafty, very demure. And look to Contagious and Jacos and kind of look over at the cart, ensuring that Rick is still asleep. I would like to ask that you remain quiet during this ritual, please. And whatever you want is completely fine. It's best that we be able to focus and concentrate to truly hear what may be attainable. Jackie kind of kneels down in front of the stones that had been placed by Sharon Kay, holding hands out and kind of motioning you, Awen, and the matriarchs to kneel down as well.
So right as that happens, Rick just pops up on the cart and just starts screaming.
Magic missile. Oh.
And he's looking straight at you, Contagious, and he says, "It's done. We brought Bodhi back, like we swore we would. There's nothing left for us here. Why? Why are we still here? We returned Bodhi. Let's get back to our mission."
Because his business isn't finished yet.
This is helping Jen, Rick.
How?
We are actively trying to. We're inside.
If
You
you
see how I
hadn't been
tried to-
sleeping this whole time, you would have heard
I wasn't
that.
sleeping. I heard everything.
Good, then you should know that they're trying to help us. They're going to help us. They're going to help you. So shut up and watch.
He
And
kinda... Oh, go ahead.
no, it was furious. Like,
Jacos is furious. Is that what you said?
yeah, like he has the utmost respect for these women. So like, interruptions of them, he just like won't take.
Awen, having collected herself just a teensy bit. Look at the ground. Look at what we're doing. This is from the place. You're actively trying to glean information so we can go back and use it.
Rick
Sorry
will,
you're upset.
and Rick will just
But
say,
we're not against you.
Oh.
That's it.
Okay. And Rick will just... I've buried too many people. This seems too similar. I'm not gonna stay here for this. And he just gets off the cart and starts walking back. He'll kind of sit with the other people, I guess, in the other place that we were just at.
He sits with the kids. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kids table.
More my size, I guess.
As you
The furniture would be
get off the
better suited.
carts and start heading that way, Jackie stands and quickly begins to follow after you.
Well,
Moment
ma'am, we
of-
kind of need you. I'm just kidding.
She
Ma'am.
turns back and gives one of those kind of, I hold on. Catching up to you before you get back to the encampment, Rick, she says, "A moment of your time."
Rick prepares puppet.
He is not fucking around, ladies and gents. We have not been formally introduced. My name is Jackie, and I'm one of the matriarchs. Our friends have shared the events of your time together, though if you were awake, you already know that. I understand your frustration with the situation. I know that you have other promises to keep and others that you care for that you must protect. I of all people, she says, and you can see just off in the distance the bonfire from the troop, and the people who are gathered around, completely unaware of your guys' presence in this moment. And she turns and kind of motions that way. I of all people understand that. And I respect and admire your dedication to that. I would like to ask that you just give us this night to see what we can find out to hopefully send you back on your way, better prepared and informed. I do not wish to take up more of your time than is necessary, and from your demeanor I can tell that more than you care to have given up has already been taken. But just give us the night to see what we can find out for you, and we'll send you back on your way in the morning.
Rick will just give a thumbs up.
She kneels down so that way, and it's not like a condescending at all. There's nothing mean or ugly in her demeanor or threatening in her demeanor at all. But she's very much trying to get on like an equal level with you. And she smiles gently and reaches out to put a hand on your shoulder. Slowly, hesitantly, not trying to force herself on you and giving you the opportunity to pull away if you choose to do so. Awen has told me what you've done for her and the others, and she begins to tear up just a little bit. And I cannot thank you enough for keeping her alive and doing what you can to help with Bodhi and bringing him here. That is not something that we will be forgetting. Thank you.
And Rick will just say, it wasn't enough. I should have been able to save everyone.
Her eye contact with you drops, and rather than tearing up, there are tears that gently begin to stream down her face. That is unfortunately not something that is always feasible. I had just told Awen earlier tonight that often we can save many, but rarely can we save all. The best thing to do when we've lost somebody that we cannot save or bring back is to live in a way that would honor them, to carry their memory on and share their stories. Carry their memories, not the weight of the guilt. Would you like to return for the ritual with us, or will you be joining the others?
If I'm not needed, I'll stay over here. And he'll kind of pull out his lyre, and he'll start slowly walking away, kind of like in a sulking demeanor.
Okay.
And he'll just start singing, "Never gonna give."
And go ahead and give me
In
a
a
quick
minor
perception
key.
check. In a minor key, that's funny. Give me a quick perception check, please. Okay. You hear that she softly says something as you walk away, but it is indiscernible over your own racing thoughts and the sound of your instrument. Okay. Real quick, let's do our break here, and then come back with
shit.
the ritual. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Okay. So, Rick, you are heading off to the encampment with the rest of the troop.
DJ,
Um,
why did I find a needle in the couch cushions?
It's a
I
trap.
don't know.
they moved the whole haystack trying to find it, and they couldn't.
I'm gonna put it right here.
I saw it might have slipped out of
It's okay.
the embroidery.
It happens. I'm just messing with you.
They're like, I was
I
hoping you'd stood
conveniently
on
caught
that.
it with my hand.
Hopefully not pokey side.
No.
Okay, good.
Pokeside goes in the couch.
Yes. Yes.
Because the
Rick,
couch is
fine.
just a giant pincushion.
essentially, yeah,
Continue.
pretty much. And a giant cat scratch, too, if your cat's bold enough to risk that ass whooping.
No, she just licks walls.
You said bowls, right?
Walls.
Walls.
Wall?
Okay. Oh, the snozberries taste like snozberries. I love how
Guys,
dumb
here's
cats
my
can be
flaming
sometimes.
bra.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Please post that in chat.
I guess for
I was looking
flavor,
for my phone. I'll have to find it later. But I will at some point.
I guess for flavor, Rick will just be like sitting down and just like he'll pull out all those papers in the journal and just start skimming through it again, seeing if there's anything that pricks his mind.
There we go.
Okay, beautiful.
Put the nose to the grindstone.
I like it. He's putting in work, ladies and gents. All right. Go ahead and give me another insight. And is there one journal you're looking at specifically, or just all of it together?
All you have is gens.
You know, my first roll sucked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably just, you know, flopping it all out.
Phrasing. There are children
As
present, Rick.
Awen has the other 2 journals,
Okay.
so
Yeah, so yeah. So I'm just looking at the pages and specifically Jen's
Okay.
Jen's journal that I have.
All right. Go ahead and give me another insight check on that,
Insight.
please.
There we go.
Awesome.
Oh, I have guidance now.
I'll allow you to guide yourself on it if you wanted to. You don't need to, but you could. 23. Okay. So what initially really just seemed like the written version of somebody slowly losing their mind, kind of losing their grip on reality, and I don't want to say going crazy, but basically, you know, going crazy, being driven mad.
Crazy. Those crazy ones. Who love me
Always
around.
bitches be crazy.
I'm full for heads.
What you're seeing more of now is that's still very much there. That is still very present. That will not ever change. But what you're getting from it now, beyond that delve into madness, is a great deal of fear and sadness, feeling alone. There are sections in there where she talks about nobody believes her. She feels completely alone and by herself. That people that she thought she could trust and rely on, that would always be there and support her, have basically shunned her, disregarding any claims that she's made. The only person who maintained any kind of semblance of support for her was Jarvis. Though she makes mention that there was still a sense of dismissal there, to a degree, that his dedication to Malikos and his faith in Malikos was too strong to sway him on her involvement, but that he at least listened, and she felt that he listened without ulterior motives or turning to Maliko and sharing what's been said. The last entry that was in there, which is scribbled, almost unintelligible. It was written so frantically and quickly. She had actually planned on returning to talk once more to Jarvis, and to ask him to bring. No, there's more to it. There's more to it. It's not. I saw that look of this motherfucker. No, we'll get there. It's not that. To speak to him and try to convince him, grab his dick and twist it, to convince him to escort her to one of the quarries so that he could at least experience things firsthand for himself. And basically tell him, you know what, if you come with me and you don't see, hear, or experience anything, I won't breathe another word of this to you, you know? But that before she, or that while she was there, that she was going to confront Malikos as well, and call Malikos out and try to be more aggressive in her approach and more straightforward in her approach with Malikos, and basically, you know, try to call her bluff of, I know you're involved, why don't you just come clean already? So, and then with your insight, and knowing what has happened, it would make sense that she stopped and spoke to Malikos before even having a chance to talk with Jarvis that day.
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah, above the table, Jarvis is a good man. You guys have all insight checked him multiple times, and that is very true to who he is.
That don't matter to me.
No,
You
I
should have listened to her the first time, mother.
fair, very fair argument. But yeah, that gives a little bit more into her mindset and what she was going on. And then basically in that same entry that, you know, if nothing came from either of these conversations, she was probably going to leave town and go elsewhere, quit her job, and just try and get away from the madness and everything. Whatever is going on is being ignored, at best being ignored. And that if no one else was going to believe, trust, or help her, that she would just put distance between herself and the situation. Player message, and then we're going to go back to...
I've ousted Tuna in chat as a wall licker. Please enjoy the video.
Oh, let me see this really
was
quick.
gonna
We'll
say.
share it with our stream. Let's see.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Going to
Tuna.
town.
Exposing her.
What a fucking goober. I love it. Goofy cat. Cats are so dumb. I love it. Like, they're very, very smart, but they're fucking dumb. Okay. The rest of you. Jackie returns and rejoins you guys at the fire. Once again, taking her place in front of the stones. I'm sorry for the interruption. It appears your friend's shoulders a lot of anger and frustration. But I think if you set off in the morrow, it will help appease some of that. Hopefully, whatever we're able to find out here will be worth the while and help you, but also help him feel it was not a waste. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. Jackie kneels in front of the stones, momentarily placing the rolled parchment with the charcoal shavings and stick inside, placing her hands over the stack of rocks. And there's a faint yellow, ethereal glow from her hands. It kind of cascades down over the rocks. She begins chanting a quiet prayer. Opening her eyes, they have gone milky white as she grabs the parchment once more and holds one end out over the edge of the fire. The blue flames lick at the parchments, and after a moment there's the sizzle and cracking of the paper catching fire. As the smoke begins to rise up, she kind of circles it over the fire and over the stack of rocks. The other two, Betty Dean and Sharon Kay, still holding hands with you, Awen. The circle not closed as Jackie has stood up and begins to walk around the fire, around the circle of you guys, holding this burning parchment over and kind of waving it. And as she's circling you guys and waving the parchment over each of you, the light begins to sparkle in different colorations. There's a foresty green that sparks as she holds it over Betty Dean. There's an earthy brown that smokes over Sharon Kay. And as she holds it over Awen, you don't see this as she is behind you and over you, but Jacos and Contagious, you see that there is a silver and then gold that begins to spark over Awen. As the paper continues burning down, she takes her place back at the opening of the circle and holds the stick and parchment upright and taps it into the palm of her hand before placing what's left of the burning paper and stick atop the stack of stones, a small collection of ash and charcoal in her hands. She kneels down, her right hand taking the hand of Betty Dean, and blows the components in her hand into the fire before taking Sharon Kay's hand in her left. The fire kind of roars up for a moment, and there's a flurry of colors. Red, the green, the silver and gold, the brown, before it kind of roars up once more and settles back down into that arconic blue. Betty Dean and Sharon Kay are speaking in whispers, not together. They're both saying prayers of their own, and as they open their eyes, they have that same milky white over them. As the three of them continue to pray and whisper, steam starts to come out of their mouths, almost as if the temperature has dropped substantially. But the colorations are on par with that of the fire and smoke that was showing as the parchment was burned over each of them. Really quick, Awen, I need a Constitution saving throw, please. And then...
Wasn't expecting that.
Yes.
You mean my minus
Oh,
one
jump
stat?
scare.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm tempted to keep it.
That's
Go
a
ahead.
that's a
I'm taking
contagious level
it.
roll right there.
Yeah.
Keep above the
Let's
table.
see it.
It's not going to hurt you.
Physically.
Emotional.
That's what this group needs, more fucking emotional damage.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I think I'll keep it.
I respect the fuck out of
Yeah.
it. I love it. Yeah, you guys have already
Golf.
had so much. You're level 4. What else could go wrong?
Golf claps all in.
I'm saying.
It's a
So
Get
much.
worse.
It's a bold move,
Not
Cotton.
much.
Let's see if it pays off. And so for your omen's importance, for your augury, what is it that you're doing as this is all taking place? Because I feel like it's kind of taking place simultaneously, all together.
Oh yeah. She would have ideally like waited for the cue of like Jackie or any of the others. If not, tried to time it with like when all of the well, actually I don't know how this spell works. If like the divination is happening with the remnants of the fire or what, she would just try to time it so that the spell is being cast at the time of most happening in their spell. So whether that be like the huge fire before it went down back to blue or what have you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I don't know. And she would try to focus on what the thing that was burning and was making the smoke, or whatever components they are using to, whether they're reading it or doing whatever that is they're doing
Okay.
to do some kind of divination.
So we matching energies out here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Let me get this back up.
Constitution save.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a part of Omen's importance.
It is not. This suit is black gnats. Okay. So, as this takes place and you finish up your end of this ritual, this is a familiar yet foreign feeling. You feel almost as though something has siphoned your energy, sucking things out of you while simultaneously being placed in you. You feel it's very almost like being possessed for a moment as your body tenses. Jacos and Contagious, you see, while the matriarchs remain calm and steadfast, their eyes aglow, their words glowing and steaming. Awen is very much out of place in this vision. Her body goes rigid, her head goes back, and when she opens her eyes, they are glazed over, blank. A look of pain and fear frozen on her face as her mouth opens in an endless silent scream. Every once in a while for the duration of this, there's a jolt or convulsion in her body. What you experience along with this, Awen, and what they will share with you guys, you find yourself in an open field at dusk, surrounded by the matriarchs, the world around you empty. There is something unnatural in the air. The ground beneath you begins to shift and quake and crack. A wind, sourceless, begins to howl, but there's no movement in the air. You hear the sounds of crashing waves, a raging sea. You smell smoke as the world around you becomes difficult to breathe in.
Does Awen have, like, agency in this moment?
Yeah, what would you like to do?
I think she's just, like... She's panicking. I think she's, like, looking around in all directions, like, trying to see if the matriarchs are seeing this. You know, maybe trying to cover her ears, like she's kind of tweaking out.
As you are looking around and freaking out, you see the forms of the matriarch, motionless, calm, cool. The elements of what is going on almost being absorbed into them. The smoke from the unseen fire kind of wafts towards them quickly, but is quickly absorbed into them. The howls of the wind cease as they reach the matriarchs. The ground cracks and opens all around them, but not under them. Jackie speaks, her form unmoving, just her mouth. This is not the right music. I apologize.
There's, like, it's crazy. It's obviously super late. There's what sounds like either persistent banging or, like, hammering from somewhere else in the apartment complex.
That's
And, like, the
weird.
timing is, like, really super spooky.
I kind of
like-
dig, like, that it's, like, timed with that, but that's really weird that somebody's doing that at, like, 2:40 in the morning.
Yeah.
Not with our upstairs neighbors.
Having lived in an apartment for a long time, I stopped questioning stuff like that.
Yeah.
It just, like, I stopped trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. People are weird, man.
Yeah, it's
Anyways.
still
Mhm.
frustrating. I hated it. When people used to do that, I'd like bang back on the walls or the ceiling, like, fuck you! It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Uh, Jackie speaks
No, I
first.
guess where they're like building furniture.
They've gotta be. At least they're not like moving it around above you and like vacuuming and stomping around. Silver lining?
Not yet.
I was gonna
Ooh.
say that is. Anyways, Jackie said something.
Yes. And their voices are airy, hollow in this moment.
Fuck.
The
I don't
ground,
like it.
the ground shifts beneath careless feet. Betty says, "The winds howl. The storm approaches." Sharon K says, "The lost walk among the living." And a voice from within you says, "Voices whisper from stone and water. The four do not work together, but they coincide and coalesce." As this voice calls out from within you, the cracking of the earth intensifies, opening beneath you and the matriarchs as the four of you begin to fall into an endless void. You look down and see yourselves flying above a raging ocean, crashing down into the sea that throws you around, unable to breathe or speak. You feel the water as it fills your lungs before quickly fading away. The water is replaced by fire that dances all around you. The smoke obscures your vision and fills your lungs. It fades away, and you are quickly knocked down by a forceful wind that brings in storm clouds, cracks of lightning, sheets of rain, as the voice once again from within says, "They do not coincide, but we coalesce." Everything fades to black, and you come back to in front of the fire, gasping, gulping for air, as blood trickles down out of both of your nostrils.
I was gonna say, I think Awen is like doubled over, like hyperventilating.
Once you come to, you'll be able to.
Damn.
Yes, you have been unable to move during this ritual, during this time. And as you double over, your body, you feel worse than when you were taken to death with the bear. This is the worst you have felt physically since your time at home.
Yeah.
Everything aches. You feel weak and tired. Everything hurts. You are sweating profusely. And in your mind, as you hear the gasping breaths from the matriarchs, the world around you kind of spins. Very, very like when you stand up too fast and you get dizzy and everything kind of blurs out and you get the womp womps. That's what it feels like in this moment. But in your mind, you hear, "Wheel."
Very descript. Thank you, creepy boys.
Which
The
is
fact that that wasn't
hilarious. What was
the
that?
fact that that wasn't woe is more. The fact that that wasn't woe is more scary than it being
I know.
woe.
I know.
I think
That's the beautiful
she
thing
is-
about Augury, though, is it's like for the next 30 minutes.
yeah. Yeah, doubled over hyperventilating. Awen is not here. The spell's done and
Crying,
she
screaming, throwing up.
yeah. I think as even after she catches her breath, she's like laying down on her side, like just Awen's not there.
And Awen,
This could probably be described as a panic attack.
you currently have 1 level of exhaustion.
Oh!
Womp womp.
That sucks.
It's alright, sleep it off.
Hey. Yeah, so that happens.
From our perspective, we just kind of saw him go into a trance, right?
Yes, so essentially you see them, and for Awen and the matriarchs, this felt like an hour minimum. It feels like
Lovely.
a very long time. For the rest of you, from the start when they took a knee after Jackie had returned and caught fire to the parchment and all of that started, it's been a total of 5 minutes, if that. And most of that was the prayers and preparation. The trance lasted maybe a minute or two, if that. And so you guys watch, and it is very, very trance-like. The 3 matriarchs, their eyes are open. All of their heads are kind of back, but their eyes are milky. Not cloudy, but like milky white, like almost that ethereal white that people get. And they seem very calm, very
And then there's Awen.
practical. And then Awen is, again, very much out of place. Her body is rigid and tense, with the occasional, like, twitching or convulsion. You can see there's literally, like, a scream that is caught in her throat as her head is arched back, and the fear and pained look is glued, frozen on her face. And her eyes are, like, glossy, glazed over. And as they come out of this trance, the matriarchs take a deep breath, but there's no physical reaction from them. Awen instantly, it's like her body just completely like gave out on her as she was so tense and tight that she doubles over and is quickly like heavy breathing, trying to catch her breath, bleeding, cold sweats, very, very shaken, not stirred.
Excuse me. As soon as I see like them come out of it, and I see Awen double over, I'm just gonna run over with one of the like water skins that we have and kind of just kneel down and try to see if she's okay. Which
Was
clearly
there-
she's not.
Was there anything going on with like the environment, or just the people in the trance who were experiencing this? Like, there's no like storm or like clouds or anything like that.
Nothing right now, no. It is a clear night. There is the breeze that has been continual since you guys had entered the woods, but it did not pick up or shift or anything like that.
I don't think Awen can even like register Contagious' presence. Like,
Yeah, I'm just gonna
I
look
think-
up to the elders. Is she okay?
She'll be alright. She will need some rest, but she'll be okay. This is something that is not easy on the body, mind, or spirit, and it perhaps is not something that she was quite ready for, but it was important that she experience it.
What's up, fun?
Woo, visions.
Yay!
Man, I have never written as fast in my life, dude. Trying to write down everything they said.
You were writing that down.
Oh no, you were too in the moment. I knew you weren't writing it down, so I'm like, fuck, I gotta go.
I was
think I
like,
got
I'll
it
go
all.
back.
I think I
I
got
need to
it
be
all.
in the moment for this. I'll go back and rewatch.
Okay, and I'm recording it as well, and the stream has not muted at all since I fixed the
Wonderful.
unknown hotkey, and then I'm also recording it in the Craig bot as well, which thank you again for that, JJ. And there is, if you guys do go back and listen again, there is a little Easter egg in there for you. I don't know if you guys caught it or not. I mean, there was a lot of information, but there was one specific
say.
difference in something.
I'll have to go back and watch it. I felt a lot of little allusions, but nothing big jumped out, so I probably missed it.
There was one specific
There
word
was one
that
felt
changed.
different, but
Unspoken word. Okay, yeah, I'll have to go back and listen.
Okay. And the voice is familiar to you, by the way.
Familiar good or familiar less good? Hold on.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You can roll history for me if you want.
Gonna say I can insight it.
Yeah, if you want to
So-
insight it rather than place it.
so real
Yeah.
quick,
Mm-hmm.
there was one instance of the word we instead of they. Just throwing that
That's
out
what
there.
I was.
Yep.
That's what I.
And
No,
if
I
you
think-
want, I have typed out what I wrote down in the chat. So
Perfect.
Bless
hopefully that was
you.
right.
Bless you.
I need to know something, so.
But the we stuck out.
Yeah.
That was
And if you
Yeah,
were not
that's what
maxed on inspiration, that
see.
would get you one right there.
Was that what you
one of
were
those few
referring to?
things I always look for in things like that is when someone changes the what's the word? Whatever, like from like I
Verbiage?
to we to the verbiage.
Yeah.
I'm always looking out for that because those are always fun to find.
Mm-hmm. And that will be a lot of fun to unpack later for you guys. You are very, very shaken up right now, Awen.
Yeah.
The voice is very familiar. You know you've heard this voice before, more than once. And it's hard to really gauge the intent of the voice in the message it was relaying. It just seemed very matter of fact to you. The matriarchs take a moment, but then stand and kind of come together a little bit away from the group, not super far from you guys. Like they step back 5 feet and begin talking quietly amongst themselves. If you guys want to try and listen, you can roll a perception.
I'm probably just gonna stay with Awen for now.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't think Awen is in a place to roll.
Okay. Let me check passives real quick. Okay, Awen, your passive is enough. Contagious, yours is not. Jacos, what are you doing in this moment?
He
Stranger just had to watch this shit.
he's not really doing nothing. He knows this is something they do, and they have their own private business.
Okay.
Anyone else is fair game for snooping. Not these
I love
women.
it. The level of respect he has for them is amazing. Awen, I'm gonna shoot you a message. It sounds very muffled and it's indiscernible. It's Charlie Brown teacher.
Yeah.
But this, because of your passive, you do hear this as the three of them are speaking amongst themselves.
I used to do that, the adult voice from Charlie Brown all the time because they made it with a muted trombone, and I played trombone in high school.
Oh my god,
So
that's
you could-
amazing.
hilarious.
You should just walk around and go, wah, 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 wah. Yeah, it's great.
I didn't know you were a band geek. I used to play trumpet.
Oh
No,
yeah,
that-
big
that's-
band.
Wait,
Saw-
Contagious, you play trombone?
I played trombone,
Yes.
baby.
Dude, I did
Dave
too,
plays
man.
trombone.
best instrument.
Just need
No
lot of
lie.
information.
And that's the only one of
Did
us
you
who
have
wasn't a
a, did you have a
dancer.
straight horn? Did you have a trigger? What did you
I
play?
I had a trigger for concert band,
And a
but I-
straight horn
and
for
a straight horn for marching.
yeah.
Because we had, well, for marching, I had to twirl that thing.
Yes, you
like,
did. Yeah.
I was the
Much
twirler
lighter.
for us, so it was. But we
Nice.
got to do a 16-man suicide because we had a like 150 member band. It was great.
Nice.
That's a big ass band.
We were. This was up in Ohio. We were one of Ohio State's theater schools, so they came and recruited from us all the time.
Nice.
So real quick, I would imagine Rick and his one-track mind, after just kind of discovering, you know, I'm assuming it probably would have taken the same amount of time
Yeah.
looking over that journal. He would probably, you know, just come running back, you know, with this journal, like shaking in his hand, like, guys, I figured it out, like I found out something, else,
Awen's
you
on
know,
the ground.
and he's looking at he just sees Awen and she's just on the ground or however she is and like all
Her
of a sudden
color
he
is
just,
pale. She's sweaty. She's got blood coming out of her nose.
Yeah. he just drops everything he's holding and he rushes over and he's like, did you go down again? What's going on?
They beat me, Rick. They beat me.
And he just starts getting super defensive and he just starts look like, I'd imagine that's what he would do.
I love it. And you see that the matriarchs are just a little bit back away. Like, I'd say from being on the opposite side of the fire and then stepping back 5 feet, they're probably 10, maybe 15 feet back from where Awen and Contagious are. Jacos is chilling, watching everything going on. This is the quietest and calmest that you've seen Jacos when he's not asleep or trancing.
Honestly, at this point, Awen's probably learning up to like take a sip of water. Like, she's
Yeah,
back on
Contagious-
Earth.
If Rick's coming this way, he's just gonna kind of shoot him a look and be like, "She's fine." Just kind of look back to her and make sure she's okay. Very very short, succinct.
I
hate
mean,
that
he's
word.
a halfling. Of course he is.
I said it. Oh, God damn it!
So as Rick rushes over and Contagious kindly and gently informs him that you are okay, Awen, do you say anything?
No, she probably does sit up though.
You have an ibuprofen? I got a headache.
God.
I got a headache.
And to put it in layman's terms, Rick, she looks like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go down again?
Yeah, that's crazy. No, but so valid.
Man, you're never beating those
I
allegations.
know.
No.
And above the table, just because I think it's kind of sweet, but it's also like insult to injury, and I am a glutton to be an asshole sometimes. Rick, when you were walking
course.
away, and had made the comment to Jackie of like, if I'm not needed there, basically what she had said that you didn't hear was, you may not be needed for the ritual, but your friends will always need you.
Oh.
Damn.
And then you weren't there and she went down.
I did not.
You're gonna give him a complex, man.
I know.
Hot start.
I can keep track of my hit points now.
I keep track of the right box of my hit points now.
Guys, I have 14 HP.
This is fine. No, dear, you are gonna die. But that was fun to flavor it. Like the adrenaline kept her from realizing how badly hurt she was.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I also really like flavoring like that, or like she just has terrible like proprioception or an enteroception, I think is what it is.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds right,
Delayed
yeah.
reaction when you stub your toe and then like you don't realize that it hurts until you see that it's bleeding because you took your nail off.
Yeah.
Like, guys, I'm perfectly fine, they say with a mouthful of blood.
Yeah, yeah. Fading fast.
It's like nice
Jackie's
pull at the end of the movie.
Oh,
I used to get
no.
chronic nosebleeds, and that's how I always knew one was coming, because I would
God.
start tasting pennies.
Oh god,
Ugh.
that's awful.
I hate nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Not
I
to
got my
speed
nose
run
cauterized.
and wrap this up, but
Oh shit!
Oh, sorry.
Jacobs would quickly ask the matriarchs to probably put some guards in the cart and find our way to our sleeping quarters or whatever we're given for the night.
Yeah, and,
Whoever wants to stay with Bodhi, or
yeah, and
and on the way out, Jacobs is gonna pass Rick and just put a hand on his shoulder, and say, "Sorry," and walk away.
Nice.
Yeah, they would absolutely get you guys set up and tell you that, you know, if you don't have your own tents and stuff like that, that they could get you set up, so you guys could rest. That you don't need to worry about taking watch. The troop would take care of that for you guys. Above the table, are you guys going to try and have them res Bodhi, or are we laying him to rest?
I was gonna wait till I had a chance to talk to one of the three.
Okay. Okay.
Alone.
Then we can save that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then depending on that choice, you guys will have the choice of either accompanying them, say if you guys want to res him, or have him res. And there's no guarantee it'll happen. There's no guarantee, but there is the possibility. You guys will have the option to accompany them on that journey, or to entrust them with that and return to Red Larch. So some things to think about and discuss in your group chat, and kind of figure out what it is that you guys want to do. And you don't have to tell me, I'll figure it out when we get there and stuff, but just so that you guys have an idea of how you want to handle things moving forward. Yeah. But we'll go ahead and go ahead.
I guess I would like to know. So, like, CJ, you're staying with us, right? Whether it's
Correct.
Bodhi
I'm
or
going to continue playing.
with this thing that that I don't know what it is.
A new companion. Yeah, and so ultimately,
'Cause we don't know the race, we don't know the class. I don't know what this is. So
He did say that he was
Eldor.
Eldrin.
Eladrin.
Eldrin, yeah.
Okay.
I'm also
Eldrin.
Eldorian. That's one of Daniel's characters.
El Salvadorian.
Yeah.
So I'm
Uh,
assuming you do have like a class picked out and everything. It's just
Oh, yeah.
it's-
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
got full character sheet and
Yeah,
backstory.
he's all set up and
Perfect.
good to go.
I just wanted to make sure that you're staying with us. I don't care what character you're playing.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that you're gonna continue.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
where they sleep.
Yeah.
They can't get out that easy.
Yeah, CJ is Cass. Sorry, keep forgetting Cass. Is gonna be here indefinitely. I'm not letting them go unless they absolutely have to, and even then I'll fight you.
Okay.
But ultimately, if the group is wanting to have Bodhi res, it'll ultimately come back down to whether or not they want to play Bodhi. You know, so Jakos will either be a temporary character or the new character. And ultimately, like I said, that's going to be up to them. And if the group and cast decide they do want Bodhi to be res, again, that's not a definite thing. There is that possibility. Then, you know, if that is successful, it'll be up to them to decide which character they want to play. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration. Like I
Yeah, I
said,
love Bodhi for his mechanics and his very easy backstory. I love Jacobs for his fucking personality.
yes, and the backstory with that one's good too. Which I've got some ideas that I'm going to be shooting over to you this week too.
Yes.
But yeah, ultimately, you know, and I've said this before, and it's something that I stand by. Regardless of the campaign, this is your guys' story. I'm just here to kind of guide and narrate things and throw things in the way to slow you down and help you guys become more powerful and victorious at the end. So whatever it is you guys decide to do, if you guys decide, you know what, we want to res Bodhi and we want to go with the matriarch and do that and come back to Red Larch, then we're opening that sandbox and we're going there, you know.
I know one halfling that does not want to do that.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
maybe what we need to do is in the direction we need to head. Who knows? We could get lucky.
Yeah, it's always possible. But yeah, so you guys can talk amongst yourselves and kind of have an idea of what it is that you guys want to do. Or if you guys want to say fuck it and wing it and see where we end up next week, that's completely fine too. But I love that you guys have the group chat and talk outside of the game. I love that you guys talk in a place where I'm not able to see it. Because even if I see stuff, like, I will never intentionally try and, like, thwart you guys or cuck you or anything like that. But I know sometimes there are things that are just, like, you know, unconsciously done because we're human and we see that and we're like, oh, this will be really cool, you know? So I like that that's not something that's going to even be a possibility. And I encourage you guys to continue doing that throughout the campaign and time together at the table. But we're going to go ahead and end the stream. Thank you guys for watching. We will be back next weekend, same time, Saturday night, midnight to 3. And I'll be back streaming sometime this week. Bye!